So, that's me over there, the little girl playing with no inhibitions. I was always a girl who loved to explore. Never did I take any authority's word at face value, but seeking my own understanding has always been my way of living. This is one of the main reasons I found it hard to get along with my elders, especially my mother. I studied engineering at a famous university in my country and excelled. You see, education has always been my main drive. I never let anything distract my vision. Anyway, I met a man who I know is the one. His name is Thando. We've been at it now for about 5 years. We get each other. Before we can marry though, Thando has a list of traditional procedures to complete. My aunt recently shared her view on the issue of Lobola. I'm sure you guys have heard about it before. So, it's a traditional practice that many African countries and others practice. You might know it as dowry. My husband has to pay an amount of money to my family to show that he wants me to join his family, for me to take his surname, and for our families to unite. I found myself really excited and wanted to learn more, so I turned to research on the tradition of Lobola in order to learn more about how it works. I decided I'd speak to my aunt because she is quite traditional and I knew she could help me navigate through the confusion. Last night, I spent a few hours in my room, huddled up on my bed, while questions lined my mind. The biggest question on my mind was this: is this tradition still relevant in the times we're living in? I wanted answers, so I picked up the phone and had what became a very eye-opening conversation with my Auntie Beverly.
Hi, my name is Beverly Chigwanda Kambarami, and I am 39 years old. With regards to the issue of Lobola, it's important for us as Africans to trace the reasons why Lobola used to be paid. In my culture, it was paid to unite the two families, to acknowledge that they were taking one daughter from one household and bringing her into their household. She was to be considered their daughter. She was supposed to function as a daughter there, bear children, and also bring up a home. So this was a way of acknowledging that they had taken something of great importance, and they would just give that acknowledgement just to say thank you so much and to bring the two families together. Now, obviously times have changed and a lot of things have evolved. But should the Lobola still be considered? I think so, because the basic fundamentals of marriage and Lobola still remain the same. The woman still leaves her family and comes to the male family. She still bears children. She still makes the house a home. And they still come together, and the family of the woman is taken.
I really can't seem to get over how my partner has to pay so much money for my bride price. It caused me anxiety just to think of him having to make a plan for such a big sum of money. A very dear friend of mine happened to call me that night. Of course, we ended up discussing the topic that was filling my mind. I wanted to know just how much she believes a man should pay for Lobola.
My name is Kanyiza and I'm 26 years old. It saddens me so bad that I see some other people are using the Lobola thing for the wrong reasons. Hence, some of the parents are demanding a ridiculous amount, like my version of ridiculous amount is plus 50k. 50k is a max for me, so you shouldn't go up. I think before Bogum Konyane come to pay the bride price, I, as a lady, should have a conversation with my family to let them know of a bit, to give them an idea of how my partner will be capable of paying for us to be together, because we are not buying and selling each other like cars and parts, but we are building a family to become one.
At times, it feels like trying to understand all of this is just so overwhelming. I honestly can't imagine how Thabo must be feeling and what he truly thinks about all these traditional procedures. As part of my research, I really wanted to know how guys actually feel about having to pay bride money.
Greetings, my name is Samuel Mahlaba and I am 22 years old.
Greetings too, my name is Ndumele Solowa and I'm 20 years old.
Okay, so today, actually, we're going to talk about this Lobola issue, guys. I feel like Lobola is not important, like in the modern days, because things have changed. So I feel like the way we do things, when it comes to negotiations, I think it should also change, because nowadays, man, everything is expensive, like a house, a car. So let's say, example, they say, okay, if you want to lobola this person, it's going to cost you maybe 100,000. How are you supposed to recover? Like, let's say you take out the 100,000. How are you supposed to recover, like, and try to build a family with the person if like they took the whole 100,000 that you had in your, like?
I'm just a hustler, then I'm marrying a doctor. I should pay for that degree that she made for 7 years. She was studying for 7 years. So I guess, guys, we should have a limit when it comes to lobola of how much should be paid. There should be a regulation that is based on lobola, because everything is regulated. Marriage, Home Affairs, it's regulating the marriage, the divorce. So how they are regulating the Tawayore Wana or support based on the salary should also be implemented in lobola negotiation. They should make this thing of calculating the lobola based on the salary. On the other side, they'll be like, the ancestors won't connect until I pay the lobola.
Yeah.
For which, yeah, maybe they are right.
They are
because
right,
the
but
lobola is a way of connecting the ancestors. But the problem is, the ancestors now are expensive to connect. Yeah, they're expensive. Because I have to connect the ancestors with maybe 70k. Yeah, that's the problem.
In closing, man, lobola, like, it's important, but then we shouldn't forget why
It's important.
Yeah, it's important because of love. You understand?
Yeah.
And then now you can't put a price on love. If you put a price on love, that's where you're ruining everything.
So since I've spoken to my aunt on my mother's side, Auntie Beverly, I decided I'd do some more digging for knowledge and get advice from my aunt on my dad's side. She's not so traditional, and she's a very rational thinker. I felt she was the right person to speak to about this.
Hey fam, I'm just going to make a tiny little contribution towards the whole lobola topic, whether or not it is important. I'm not going to say it's not important, but to me, I feel people are taking advantage. People are being greedy. People have turned lobola into a business transaction, of which it shouldn't be like that. It's all about kubatanidza ukama. What am I saying? I am saying I feel there should be like some type of token of appreciation, not really Mukwasha being charged all this and that and that. I feel like makuti mimi Mukwasha ngabhadhare kuchengeta kwamakaita mwana wenyu, kuzvara kwamakaita mwana wenyu, kuendesa mwana wenyu kuchikoro kwaakaita. Why should that be Mukwasha's burden? Why should that be Mukwasha's debt to pay? That was your decision to have kids. That was your personal decision to take your child to an expensive school. I don't think it's fair for Ngana to pay back the money that you used to raise your own kids. At least there is decency in asking for blessings, appreciating you for allowing me to take over starting a family with your own child. So imagine if we give you all our life savings just so we can have mwana wenyu. So what are we going to do? Family. Don't you think we also need that money as well to start our family? Remember, we are starting a family. You guys are already established. You guys are already like Mato Hari, you've got everything all put together. Can we at least maybe edit the whole concept of paying mazimari, mazihi, maybe mombe, majasi? Yes, in permission or authorization. Don't you think it's fair? Because all I see now is competition. It's proving who had a beautiful Rora squad, who had beautiful decor on their Rora day. It's no longer about love. It's no longer about building a family. It's all about showing off, and that shouldn't be the case of Lobola. That's how I feel.
You know what every girl loves? Girl chats, of course. I love chats with my colleagues. I always come out with a fresh outlook on many different issues. My friend and I had a girl chat over a video call, and it was awesome.
Hey, so let's discuss the importance of Lobola in today's society. Firstly, the importance is bringing two families together in unity. And the beauty behind Lobola as well is that instead of going down on one knee and just asking you, they're asking the people, rather, who made you, your parents, and those who raised you. Can they enter into your life for life? I think that's very beautiful. And also to know that these two families will be gathered together on that day and will be introduced to each other is also a very beautiful feature of Lobola, and not the monetary gain from it.
I ponder on many things, but I really wonder what the future of dowry will be. The thoughts of young people who are influenced by this tradition, how they feel about current traditions and culture. Can traditions such as these live on for many more centuries to come?
I think Lobola should still be paid because it is used in order to be able to bring families together and to acknowledge both the family of the bride and of the groom into a new family which they are gonna be creating.
I would describe myself as a strong-minded, self-sufficient woman. I love knowing that I can support myself and my husband. Maybe that is why Thabo and I have naturally formed our own partnership arrangement. It involves zero tradition and no gender roles. Most people would call it a 50-50 relationship. Back in the day, the man would provide financially and the woman would tend to their home. Today, women play both roles, as do men. And so because both Thabo and I will be taking care of each other, both of us assuming the role of breadwinner, is it still fair for him to pay the bride money?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Desmond Bate. I'm going to share my point of views about Lobola, whether it's still important or not this current day. My point of views about Lobola is, Lobola is important. It depends on the tribe and culture which you believe in and what is it. But according to the Christianity in some sorts, Lobola is not that really important because marriage is the one what counts. So Lobola to some people is gonna be a sign of remorse
some of them, they will neglect it because they don't believe in it. It's like a cult or something.
The concept of money being paid for my hand in marriage really has me feeling uneasy, because I've heard many men say that if they pay bride money, the woman then belongs to them. She becomes his property and has to do everything he tells her.
My views on whether Lobola is necessary in modern days are, firstly, I'll just like to say that I don't think it is necessary. Personally, because I feel like as a young woman, your family is selling you. You are being sold. It's like you are like a good.
Every month, my family and I enjoy hosting a big Sunday lunch. You know it'll be big because almost all of my relatives are invited. Hungry for more information, I took advantage of the monthly family event and decided to have a girl chat with my cousins, just to hear what they thought about the relevance of Lobola in our time.
Hi, I'm Zihle Bageta. I'm Karabo Mabuya. So the first question is, with most modern women demanding 50-50 in a marriage, should Lobola be paid? Yes. Yeah. 50-50 is after, like... Yeah, it has nothing to do with Lobola. It has nothing to do with Lobola. And Lobola. Like, it doesn't have a lot to do with the traditional or cultural standing of the family. Yeah, the 50-50. Yes. And the 50-50 is different. Like, I could be asking 50-50 for money, I could be asking 50-50 for effort, blah, blah, blah. It depends on the context. Their relationship. Yeah, it Lobola, no question. It's still mandatory. Yeah. And Lobola doesn't have to do with the 50-50. It has everything to do with the family coming together. So you can't say, I can't pay you, or you have to pay the other half. Yeah. When it's your responsibility as the guy and your family to bring us together. Yeah. Okay, second question, we'll go with since most traditional practices are no longer being practiced, why is Lobola still a part of modern society? I feel like it has nothing to do with modernity. I think that Lobola is part of society.
After contemplating all the opinions and views I had collected, I had a better view, a better understanding of this tradition. I acknowledge that before anything else, I am a proud, Black, African woman, and my conclusion is that love needs to prevail. Love is not only for the wealthy, but it is open to everyone that dares to take the leap of faith. I don't believe that love should have a condition, a financial condition that is. We have to stay true to who we are and where we come from as Africans. This goes for all countries that practice dowry in its different forms. Tradition makes us who we are, and we should be proud of that. Human greed has been responsible for many families using Lobola as a money-making scheme, and those families are the ones giving Lobola a bad name. If I could have it my way, I would get the government to regulate Lobola, have it capped at a certain amount based on how much the man earns or is able to pay. That's just my opinion, and I hope that each of you decide for yourselves. Always ask questions. Never just accept anything at face value, even when it comes to tradition. That's the only way we can get to understand who we truly are and find pride in our history and origins.